Pressbox.
Listen weekdays. The voice of Nassau Community College. 90.3 WHPC.
I want to be the one to tell everyone about Haitian Caribbean Connection.
No, Marjorie, I said that I want to be the one to tell everyone about Haitian Caribbean Connection.
You get to do everything fun around here.
That's not true.
Yes, it is.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
No, it's not.
Hey guys, Kedner, Marjorie, here's a great idea. Why don't both of you tell everyone about Haitian Caribbean Connection?
Okay, fine. I'm going first.
Not if I say that you can listen every Wednesday from 6 to 8 first.
All right. But I'm going to tell everyone that Haitian Caribbean Connection is the show that gives you all the best Haitian compa music, Creole jazz, Yanvalu, Igbo, the best of Zouk, and more.
Well, I'm going to say that you can listen on the voice of Nassau Community College.
As long as I can say 90.3 WHPC. I think that went well.
Me too.
Okay, so that's done. Let's get something to eat.
You buying?
No.
Aw, worth a shot.
Okay, listen up, class. Beginning in 2017, we will be meeting at a new time, so don't forget.
Forget what?
That The Unforgettables will now be on the air from 9 to 11 p.m. Saturday nights.
Forget about it.
So then you won't forget?
Forget what?
That The Unforgettables will now be on from 9 to 11 p.m. Saturday nights.
Excuse me? I forgot what the class is about.
The Unforgettables, as always, has been about celebrating the great American popular songbook, the vocalists, musicians, and songwriters. We not only play their music, but oftentimes a legendary name or newcomer to the scene will join us for an interview. So don't forget to tune into The Unforgettables every Saturday night at 9 on the voice of Nassau Community College, 90.3 WHPC.
Whoa, hey man, I think I'm in the wrong classroom.
We're back here on From the Press Box, talking sports as we always do every Monday from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. And we have Rich on in a few minutes, not exactly right now, but in a few minutes. And we talked about the Yankees. They're doing well. The NBA, brother, the playoffs are going, and it's always a quiet time in New York for the playoffs because the Knicks haven't been there in a long time.
Well, not that long, but just that one time.
It didn't seem like it was long.
If you want to say how many times have they been in the playoffs in the last, I don't know, 10 or so years?
Right.
One.
It used to be the circus used to fight, for the playoff time.
Now the Knicks are the circus.
Now the Knicks are the circus. That's true. Did you
Thanks,
see
brother, for setting me up for that one. That was easy.
Did
Tee it up, baby.
I don't know if you saw the story.
What am I looking at?
Porzingis is the Knicks cut ties with Porzingis' favorite assistant, according to the Daily News.
Yes, I did see that.
So that's not a good message for their future.
Well,
as soon as Carmelo goes, he is the team.
Here's the reason for that, though. The Knicks want to hire a former point guard of theirs, Pablo Prigioni. They want to bring him on the staff as a coach. Now, why you would take Porzingis' favorite assistant and take him out of the mix, I don't know. Since Porzingis already is not all that happy with the franchise and, is kind of in a situation where you don't know if he's going to want to stay in 2 years after his rookie deal is up.
Right.
So that's a problem.
And he is the future of the team.
Absolutely. He's the core piece. He's the guy you want to build the franchise around. And if he decides he wants to leave, well, you saw how the Brooklyn Nets were this season.
Horrible.
That'll be the Nets, or that'll be the Knicks. I'm sorry. So why? I don't understand. Like, let's face it. The Knicks have all the money in the world to hire assistants. I don't know if there's a limit on how many assistants they're allowed to have, but if there's not, just hire extra guys. It's not like they don't need coaches. They need anybody who's got a bit of sanity to them.
And we're all waiting for the giveaway of Carmelo Anthony, but that's
coming.
That's coming. We have Rich Coutinho on the line.
There he is.
Let's get Rich on the air. Rich, welcome to From the Press Box. How we doing?
Good. How you guys doing this morning?
Doing great. Rich is the author of a new book called The Pressbox Revolution: How Sports Reporting Has Changed Over the Past 30 Years, and it's published by Skyhorse Publishing. And tonight, by the way, Rich will be doing a book signing at Foley's Pub in New York City.
Oh, I like Foley's.
So
that's an awesome place.
So if you have the book or you want to go down and meet Rich, because you've heard him for like the last 30 years reporting about sports in the New York area on different radio stations. Currently, you're the Mets beat reporter on what?
98.7 ESPN. And I also do a lot of Met reporting for the Files One News brand.
Okay, and also you're writing for nysportsday.com too.
Correct. So in the 2 seconds I have left in the day, I try to get some rest.
Why? Why would you do that? Now, I got to tell a story.
Because naps are good. That's why.
I got to tell a story about you and my brother. Years ago, I called my brother. I didn't realize he was covering the Yankees. And Timmy I call him up, and he says, I'm in Girardi's press conference. Call me back. But go listen. So I turn on Girardi's press conference. Now, I know Timmy's there.
Shouldn't even have picked up the phone. What was I thinking?
And all of a sudden, I hear the voice of Rich Coutinho booming in the background. I'm like, oh, wow, Timmy and Rich. And they don't even know that I know both of them, of course, because, you guys never met. Now, so I just thought it was kind of funny, hearing your voice. I don't think I heard your voice that night, Tim. I'm sorry. Maybe it did.
I don't know. I'd probably asked the question already.
Okay.
I don't know.
So, Rich, let's start off with the book. It's called The Pressbox Revolution. Revolution's a strong word. What has been the revolution in covering sports in the last 30 years?
Well, so much has changed, but I think if I had to pinpoint one thing, it's that the pre- and post-game coverage of sports has become more important than the game. And I'm talking about if you walk through the press box mid-'80s to the mid-'90s, in a baseball press box, you'd see people sitting there probably keeping score, watching the game, talking about what the next play is. If you took that same walk today, you would see people on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, probably not watching the game unless they're the greatest multitaskers in the world. And I think it's changed. Some of that is a good change, and some of that is a not-so-good change. I think that people want to hear the backstories about why teams lose more than actually, well, they didn't hit and run there on a 3-1 pitch. He got the take sign. Why is he not more aggressive? I think it's, well, he didn't get the hit sign because the manager doesn't like him, and it's because he said something about the manager in the media. And it's changed everything. It's. I'm going to use a comparison. It's kind of made us sophomores in high school again. And I think I got into this business because my sophomore year in high school was way behind me.
Well, that's a good point. It almost sounds like it's part reality show in the sense of the way some reality shows have staged backstabbing and staged reality shows. Professional wrestling's always been honest about being staged reality. But Real Housewives and the rest of it has never been honest about it. And it sounds like you're thinking that the sports world might be going that way too.
Absolutely. And I think one of the things that I talk about in the book is I do a whole chapter just on pre- and post-game shows. And they're necessary for revenue, first of all. But secondly, I talked about two of the guys that I think I compare everyone to, one on the radio side and one on the TV side. The one on the radio side is Howie Rose. And I know young Met fans know he does the play-by-play and does an awesome job with that. But he created Mets Extra in the early years of WFAN, which became the post-game show how it should sound, talking about the game, talking about the next day, talking about some of the other stuff too, but really breaking down the game. And on the TV side, nobody's ever done it better than Kevin Burkhardt. And I think Burkhardt is a huge reason why SNY is as big as it is now, as much as any other guy that got behind the microphone, because Kevin connected it. And one of the things Kevin and I used to always talk about when we're covering games is we felt it was a job of ours to let the fans know how hard baseball is. It might look easy on TV, and to the analysts who analyze it, they may make it look super simplistic and easy, but it's not. And have some faith in the fans. The fans don't need a simplified version of the game. New York baseball fans are smart. They're intelligent. They're passionate, but they can understand and be interested in how a two-seam fastball is different than a four-seamer and why a pitcher threw it at that point in time. And I think sometimes the media doesn't give the fans enough credit for how sophisticated and intelligent they really are.
I think some of that though comes from the management side of things, because it always seems like those types of people kind of forget what it's like to be in the trenches, if they were ever in the trenches, and the second part of that being that they want to appeal to the lowest common denominator, as opposed to, like you said. I mean, I always, when I was writing, I didn't want to necessarily appeal to the elite knowledge person, but there was always an assumption that if somebody's reading my story, they at least care enough about the game that they do know the basics, and I don't have to explain it to them.
I think it's a fair point, and I think one of the things that has happened in social media has kind of entered into the fray is sometimes there's a lot of smarminess, I'll use that word, by the media on Twitter. And I've kind of taken a different viewpoint on it. I try to look at the glass half full. Some people ask me, do beat reporters, are they mostly glass half full or half empty? I said neither. They're a styrofoam cup with a hole at the bottom of it as you pour water into it. So I think that, but a lot of that is the editors.
Yeah,
the editors want that. And listen, I understand that. I worked for editors that want that as well. But I do think that it's kind of changed the way sports is reported. The other thing is there's nothing off the record anymore. And I still honor that. There's a lot of things in my life that I've gotten off the record and stayed off the record. But one of the things I learned is you can't ever use that, but you might be able to use it as deep background to get someone on the record to talk about something. And I think players today know that there's nothing off the record anymore. And because of it, I think what we get in the clubhouse is very politically correct quotes. And sometimes you get a player who might do it once in a while and go off that plane. But for the most part, you get the same stuff from every reporter, because players are not opening up to any specific reporters. They're talking to them in a group for the most part. And I think there are columnists in this town that have that input with players, like the Kevin Kernans and the Wally Matthews and the Bill Maddens of the world, that have that input, and the Joel Shermans and the Bob Clappishes, that I think have that pass with players and are able to get stuff from them. But for the most part, all we hear is things in an echo chamber. And I think that's the negative to how it's changed. When I came up in the mid-'80s, you had people who had totally different takes on it, because they were getting different honest takes from players. And the 86 Mets, I think, are a great example of that. And I talked a lot, guys, about racism in the media in the book. And one of the things I used as an example was, in the mid-'80s, two things. When Manley and Winfield were going for a batting title in the mid-'80s, and the 86 Mets coverage of Gooden and Strawberry. Mm-hmm. And I think the reason why Gooden was given more positive press and more leeway than Strawberry is Gooden was a shy black man, and Strawberry was a more vociferous, let's say, black man. And I don't think the white male media at that point was ready for a vociferous black man. And that's why Strawberry got, criticized at every turn, and why Gooden, a lot of people stuck their head in the sand when things were fairly obvious, myself included. And I think that, the Winfield-Mattingly thing, I don't know one writer in the town at the time that was extolling the virtues of Dave Winfield. And I'm not saying Mattingly didn't deserve the credit that he got. He certainly did. He was a great player, an MVP. But as a young reporter, that spoke volumes to me, and I don't think it doesn't necessarily still happen today.
Well, let me bounce a couple things off you, Rich, because I read those chapters, and I agree with you 100% on Gooden and Strawberry, and the other thing you have to remember with Strawberry is that fight that he got into with Hernandez at the photo day, and Strawberry was a more outspoken guy, and personally, I don't think that's a bad thing. I mean, let me just take a little sidetrack here for a second. It along the lines of what you're saying, so many quotes now, like you said, they're PC, they're very safe. I'm not saying this is a criticism, but it's a lot like Derek Jeter, who rarely said anything controversial, and was always, he just kind of wanted to get through the interview, give the writer some quotes or whatever. But I